This is episode 3 of My Mysterious Wedding Night, based on a true life story. So tighten your seatbelt and watch till the end.
Seriously, I don't think things that happened when we were dating has anything to do with his death.
I said
Believe me.
slowly. The officer simply folded his hand and breathed deeply. He said,
Madam, nothing is hidden under the sun for long. Sooner or later, I will still find out. So if there's anything you know, just talk. It might help in this case.
Okay, let me talk. Brian was stealing from the company. He was doing it with his colleague in the records department. I found out about the whole deal 3 weeks into our relationship, but couldn't do anything apart from confronting him. He ended up convincing me to keep quiet, equally promising to marry me and take me to his home country. His plan was to get me established over there. I was a woman in love with a whole lot of games, of course. I kept quiet and helped him steal more. He kept his word and married me, only to die before fulfilling the last part of his promise. Now, what has that got to do with his death? I poured out with tears. The other detective said,
This colleague in question, do you think he has a hand in his death?
he asked curiously. Of course not. They had separate accounts and divided proceeds evenly. And he is much more valuable alive than dead to the man.
Well, in a murder case, we don't rule out any possibility until the crime is solved. I admire your honesty. You bravely confessed to being an accomplice to another crime. I appreciate and I will keep my promise by watching your back. It should interest you to know that your husband might have been murdered in his garden. We saw some drops of blood down there, which now give us two crime scenes.
He said, where I gasped in shock. Yes, Brian loved smoking and probably went to the garden to hit off while I slept. But how the hell did he get back to the bed if he was killed in the garden? The police snapped me out of my thoughts and said,
It's time to go to your cell, my dear. I'll permit you to keep your phone. Just pray something new never comes out to incriminate you further. As for now, this latest discovery works on your side.
He added with a cold smile. I was led quietly back to my cell. That night was a terrifying one. I kept seeing my dead husband all through that night. It was a nasty experience. On the next day afternoon, my friend Susan came to see me. Susan shed real tears on seeing me. Her face colored deeply. Susan was my old friend. We finished NYC together, though in different states. I was fortunate to get a good job while she managed a little teaching job in her neighborhood. She never supported me in marrying Brian. She said I was overly ambitious and I was throwing away my life for money. As me and my friend Susan was still talking, the police detective came in and told me there's a new development. He's giving me signal that Susan should leave. But I told him to talk, that Susan is a close friend. He said, do I know who is Sharon Maxwell? I said no. Do I know that my husband engaged someone before getting married to me? I was shocked, like that. I was really shocked. And the next thing I could remember is that everywhere went blank. I fainted.
Do you know that Sharon Maxwell slept in that same house on the day Brian was killed? But I don't think Sharon killed Brian. This is Adora's Diaries.